Well, hello YouTube, it's Petey Two Finger here, and if you find some electronics and the volume control is scratchy, I got real lucky with this piece. I paid $9.99. It's a pyle, which that brand, you know what that means? Is a pile of shit. Anyway, this particular amp it's got a honking power supply in it. I'm glad that I bought it. We found some very expensive speaker, which there was only one. Last time I went, I found an infinity speaker, which is a little bit more trebly. Anyway, I hooked all that stuff up, miss and match speakers. Plus, there was some little pile speakers, little tiny ones, and I bought them. They were rated at 100 watts for these little things, pile watts. You divide that by 10. So yeah, I did good at the resale store, but this is the potentiometer. This is what's inside every volume control. Even if it has a giant knob, it's this. And this is a stereo pot. You can see there's two sets of three connectors. See those three circles underneath it? And it's soldered in. You can see there's six. So there's little wipers in here that go on a conductive disc. And it'll either throw your signal all the way over to the amp, so when you turn it all the way up, it's like there is no resistance. Or when you have it all the way down, it's throwing your signal to the ground. It's like just like dead shorting your signal. So yeah, that's how it works. And there, over time, especially if you're using it in the same range, like if you only turn it up to the same spot and then you leave it there, what'll happen is, because there's electricity passing in between, it forms a little spot, almost like when there's sparking, then there's some debris, or it attracts stuff from the air and almost like welds that in that area. So that's that where it'll cut out. One channel will go out. And you can fix that very easily. And this whole time, if you notice, I've been doing this. That's how you fix it. You can try. The first thing you should try is shutting the unit off and just jerking it back and forth. Now, I got really lucky on this build because this pot is on a detachable board. There's a ribbon connector that plugs in, but it's the same concept. Only it would be more difficult if this was permanently mounted. Now this pot has 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 points of interest where I can either spray this expensive contact cleaner that has a little tubey. Okay, I could either spray that in there and try to blast that shit out, or the cheap man way to do it is get a bottle, squeeze bottle, or an eyedropper. And it's a combination of acetone, or what's that stuff that smells good? Ronson lighter fluid. What's in here? Naphtha. This is, I poured some naphtha in here and I didn't realize I had some alcohol. So we call this naphthahol. Get it? So what we're going to do, I'm going to try to point out the 4 points of interest. And the points of interest are, it's basically a hole where you can inject the liquid. So on this side here, that little square right there, that's a hole. I can take this and I'm dropping drops of water right at that hole. Some of it's kind of rolling over. And I can actually feel now that there's liquid in there. This has less resistance when I spin it. So the other spot is in the back. There is that white insert. You see the white insert? The white circular, it has a hexagonal. I have a lower power flashlight. What might be good for you to see this. Yeah, right. It says B100K. That means that the pot is B is a linear, and my autofocus is not helping out on this. But that big white circle underneath the print, you can actually manage to get some in there, but the gaping spot is really going to be hard for you to see. In between the two rows, of the 6 connectors there, and so it's at the very bottom. You can't see it. It's at the very bottom, like there's 3 in the front and 3 in the back where it solders into the board. Underneath there's slots where you can totally see in here. And if you turn this, you can actually see some spinning action. So what I'm going to do is angle this in here, and I'm just going to, what you need is a towel to catch a spill rag. Because the more of this is not less is more, this is more is good. More is gooder. And so I just poured, probably I got about 3 drops, 6 drops in there. It's all wet, I can feel it. And I am doing it to it. And the next step that I'm going to do after this, I could spray my expensive $20 a can. This drummer, he came over, and I had to fix some stuff for him, fix some of his broken gear, because he won't pick up a tool. He's too scared. Anyway, yeah, I didn't go to school for this. I learned how to do this by picking up a screwdriver and going, I'm going to open the case and look at it. Okay, that's how you learn. And Google helps a lot. A lot. This drummer, I was like, yeah, the spray I got, and I sprayed his fucking shit and cleaned it and got it to work. And that wasn't, it was a humming, it was an old Digitech delay, and it has this AC transformer, and the nuts and bolts come loose on it, and then it hums, and it's a vibrational hum. So he was like, this thing's vibrating. So I was like, well, there's a giant honking piece of steel with some screws, and they're loose. And some other place called Deltronics charged him $90 to tighten those bolts before, and they didn't put Loctite on it because they knew he'd be back. And instead of coming back, he came by me, and I did it all for free. And then I cleaned all of his pots while we had it open, and then he was like, hey, can I borrow that? And I was like, my wife gave that to me for Christmas. This is $20, like that was my main present that year. You know, we don't have a lot of money. And I said yes. I let him borrow it. He had it for about 3 months, and I was like, hey, do you remember that fucking spray that you took from me? Don't be like that. That's the lesson of this video is not how to clean pots. It's don't fucking treat your friends like that. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm turning on my space heater. And I'm going to turn it on high for a second, and then what we're going to do, I'm right by the hot mic. What we're going to do is I'm going to put this in the path of the heat and spin it and make sure that I dry out all of that. You could also, if you wanted to be completely psychotic, or if you clean it and it didn't solve the problem, you could just unsolder this using desoldering pump and then desoldering braid. I use those two in conjunction with each other. Remove it and then install a new one. It's just a standard pot. It's got a little ground strap on it. There's a little wire. See that little wire on there? A piece of solid core. So you would need to unconnect that and then connect it to the main ground plane. But yeah, you could just as soon just replace this. It looks like it might be a little longer shaft. That's what you would use a micrometer. And let's see if it's a 17. Or are they 16s, the one that everybody uses? Let's see. Yeah. Here's the little digital micrometer. We're going to $19. Yeah. I had somebody leave a comment and they said that I fuck people up with my bad advice. You see how I just detected a 2 millimeter difference in a shaft of a pot? Anyway, yeah, I'm going to quickly put this back together. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to adjust this camera so you guys can watch me, how long this takes me to do. Right now, like I said, I'm just I'm baking this. I'm baking it. It's just making sure that, and I can feel that it's grabby. It's grabby. Which means that all of the liquid has evaporated with the use of this space heater. So what we're going to do now, excuse the jimble jumble jamble, is try to set this up here where you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit. And I am going to real quickly plug this in and test and show you how I fuck people up with my incorrect advice. Because, hey Gomp, you remember how much this thing was crackling and cutting out?
Yes.
You remember we almost didn't even buy it, and I said, oh, well, I'll have to fuck with it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you need the thing back though? Or?
Turn the bass in treble all the way up.
Do you need some audio plugged in? It's gonna have to be Zephyr. Oh no, it can't be Zephyr. So,
Yeah, I do need some audio plugged in, darling.
Your thing.
So, yeah, I had a nasty comment. Someone said, oh, we call you Uncle Bumblefuck. And I guess I'm uncle age because I'm in my mid-50s. Uncle Bumblefuck. Yeah, Uncle Bumblefuck. All of the amplifiers, all the hundreds of pedals and circuits I built. Dropping an album every year. It's very listenable and well-produced album of music. Whether or not you like the music, is you can go fucking spit on that. But these comments are coming from people who, they do demos with Digitech RP90s and shit. And they've got no music to show for themselves. Just thought that was kind of a little bit amusing. Uncle Bumblefuck. Yeah, that's me. Just bumbling my way through.
Because nothing works here now because you just bumble it all up. Huh?
Yep. And I'm not getting any signal. What are we plugged into here? And the speakers are plugged in? This is not playing. The player you gave me is not playing.
I turned it on and handed
Okay.
it to you.
Alright, so here's the music. And the problem was when I would turn it down, this first little bit of where people would play it was crackling and cutting out. So I'm gonna I gotta shut that off before I get copyright strike. Oh wait, that's my album I recorded this year. I'm gonna mark this one with a B, and we're gonna put it in the oven. I gotta throw the screws back into this thing. It's probably gonna take me about 10 minutes because I do not have a 1/4-inch drive to hex shank adapter. I looked, couldn't find one. Yeah, that's me. Uncle Bumblefuck. Guy called himself Detroit Wanker. So this is a group of people who associate with each other. They go to each other's channel and throw feces. You're a dumbhead. No, you're a dumbhead. And there's nothing. There's no... They might find a video of a guy who's talented playing a guitar with a mask on and then put that up on their channel like, hey, look at me. When in reality, they're playing Smoke on the Water like this. How about this one? You know this one? That's the Peter Gunn theme. Oh, wait, one more. Enter Sandpit. This is my favorite. Remember that one? Say your prayer just before. Yeah. What was that one that I saw the other day? Look up Neighborhood Jam Sesh. Look up that video. Neighborhood Jam Sesh for your tube tone enjoyment. Anyway, you guys, I'm sorry I brought this one down into the where I don't need to go. Those guys made it. They were thumbing down all of my videos for years. For years. I was the target of a group of cyberbullies. This is a huge fucking circle jerk of just morons. And I went as far to shut my my comment section down for over a year, and I shut all my views off, or my my ratings. And I'll do that again. I'll do that. I don't care. I do not care. It's kind of a shame because there's some people that I like commenting. David, Christian, Giacomo. And there's people that I haven't heard from in a while. I'm sure I wore it out. You know me, Uncle Bumblefuck. All right, you guys, take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon. Hug your pets. And peace.